How did a man I called boring answer my loudest secret with a single paper in a bright hospital cafeteria? Why did I think calling my husband cold, flaunting his friend, and posting truths online would end with flowers instead of a court-ordered DNA test? What happens when the person you try to shame refuses a fight and uses quiet procedures instead? Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. My name is Ligeia Rowan, and I told myself I was the smart one in our quiet marriage. I am 33, an insurance claims associate who lives in forms and rules all day. My husband, Noah Ives, is 35, a math teacher who loves plans and calm. I said calm was cold. I said I needed spark. I looked at his best friend, Ari, and called my hunger a test. I said a small break would fix a big problem. I said I deserved to feel alive. I framed Noah as the villain first. I told friends he did not fight for me. I posted lines about passion and truth. People clapped online. I liked the noise. When my period was late, I told myself it was fate. I said the baby could make Noah see me again. I said, love is bigger than timing. I did not say whose child it might be. I told myself I would manage the story. Noah asked if I was okay. I said I was stressed from work. He asked if we could plan a weekend. I said planning killed love. Ari asked if I was happy. I said I needed more. The test turned pink. My phone lit up. I chose silence. I came home late and left my shoes by the door, like I was done with the day and maybe the life too. Noah stood at the stove, quiet as a clock. He asked if I had eaten. I said I was full of stress. He asked if we could sit. I said sitting sounded like surrender. I took a photo of the clean counter and saved it. I wanted evidence that the house was too neat. That neat meant dead. He set 2 mugs on opposite ends of the counter. Handles turned away like 2 faces that would not meet. He said routines kept a home steady. I said routines killed love. He suggested a weekend trip after my busy week. I said plans were cages. He breathed out and said he would give me space. He did not raise his voice. That calm made me feel small, so I made myself tall with new words about spark and truth and need. His phone lit with a soft chime. A calendar reminder flashed, Sequoia Lot, 8:25 a.m. He silenced it without looking at me. I asked what that was. He said it was work. He used that kind tone that made me want to throw a plate. I did not throw anything. I took my phone instead and wrote to Tamsin that I was done being quiet. She sent fire emojis and told me to own the story. I typed a caption about choosing heat over routine and kept it in drafts like a match I could strike later. I checked on the bathroom mirror and told myself I looked like a woman who knew what she was doing. Ari's avatar glowed in my messages. He had sent a joke about my brand of perfume last week. I wrote that the perfume was wasted in a cold house. He replied fast and asked if I was okay. I said I needed more. He sent a flame emoji. I liked the tiny pretend fire better than the steady warm kitchen. When I walked back to the hall, Noah sat at the small desk. A spreadsheet with initials and dates filled the screen. He minimized it as I stepped in. I asked if he had started a love affair with columns. He said he was catching up on household things. I said household things were his only romance now. He let the words pass like he did not have skin. He slid a folder into the drawer and turned the key. The lock clicked soft, like a coin on wood. He said he would sleep in the guest room to keep things calm for the night. I said, calm was a slow death. He said, calm was a choice when there was a child in the house. He meant stability, and I heard judgment, so I called him cold. He walked down the hall with a folded blanket and a book. The light from the guest room made a yellow square on the floor, and then went out. I opened Ari's chat again. I said I was tired of being invisible. He asked if I wanted fresh air later. I told him I was thinking about it. I stood in the doorway to our bedroom and looked at my reflection. The woman in the glass looked brave because she did not blink. I liked her better than the soft wife who sorted receipts and wiped counters. I scrolled through my drafts. The line about Spark read clean and sharp. I imagined it as a bright banner over my life. I imagined Noah seeing it and feeling a jolt. I wanted the jolt to turn him into someone who reaches for me. I told myself a small break can fix a big problem. I did not name the problem. I wanted magic, not nouns. I heard the soft sound of Maya's old wind-up music box from the closet where we kept gifts. Noah must have bumped it while setting the guest blanket earlier. The tune was thin and brave and silly. It made my mouth go tight. I put the box back on the top shelf and closed the door. I told myself children sleep through storms. I told myself children forget the weather. Back in the kitchen, I saw the mugs again, standing apart like two flags at different borders. I took a picture and did not post it. I poured water into one and left the other empty because the image pleased me. I stood there until the air felt heavy. I wanted a sign that I was still the one holding the map. The apartment did not answer. I made the answer myself. The door latch clicked as Noah closed the guest room for the night. My phone lit with Ari's new message preview, then went dark. At the insurance office, the open plan floor looked like a giant quiet mouth waiting for words. I wore a blazer and a new shade of lipstick and told myself the outfit was a plan. Tamsin rolled her chair to my desk and asked if I was writing my part 2. I said maybe. She said the algorithm loved a sequel. She asked if the friend from last week still sent flirty texts. I said some men understand heat. She laughed and called me brave. I liked the title and let it sit on my shoulders. My phone buzzed. A coworker dropped a message in the group chat with a party invite at Ari's bar. Someone added a caption template with the word upgrade in bold. I felt tall. I typed a small teaser line about choosing passion and saved it again. Mr. Patel walked by and asked if I had 5 minutes. We stepped into the glass huddle room where voices sound like whispers inside a jar. He said clients sometimes check staff accounts and then call him. He asked me to be careful online. I said I was only sharing truth. He said our brand relied on trust. I nodded like a student and thought about posting anyway. At lunch, I scrolled in the break area. Tamsin sent me a link to a thread where people asked if I was the woman with the brave line about Spark. I enjoyed the word brave a second time and forgot to eat. I typed a caption for later and added a heart by mistake. I erased it and replaced it with a sharper word. Sharp words make me feel like a tool that can cut anything I want. After work, I stopped at the supermarket. The light was white and flat, and the fruit looked like painted props. Nora from the school pickup line stood by the yogurt and checked her phone. She glanced at me, and then at my basket, and then at my face. She asked if everything was okay at home. I said we were fine. She said she saw a post and hoped I was not making a private problem into a public game. I said awareness helps other women. She said children like quiet more than awareness. She half smiled and put a carton back like it was a thought she did not want. Outside, I texted Noah that he should show up if he cared. He wrote that he would be home by 6 and asked if I wanted to plan a Saturday breakfast. I told myself the words were small and empty, like pennies that could not buy anything. I put my phone in my pocket and watched my reflection in the automatic door. I told the reflection she deserved more. He was already home when I walked in. His laptop was open to a clean grid. He slid the screen down as if the lid was a pause button. I asked if he was in love with Excel. He said he was organizing household things. I asked what things. He said scheduling, bills, the week. He said we could go over it together tomorrow. I said I was busy tomorrow. He nodded and moved the laptop aside. The table looked like a small office. I felt insulted by how calm it was. I went to the balcony and took a photo of sky and added a brave line about choosing heat and posted it before I could think. The likes jumped like fish. Tamsin reacted with flames. 2 people I barely knew added cheering gifts. The attention made a new room inside me, with bright walls and a loud floor. I liked the room better than the kitchen. Noah called me in for dinner. Poppy's picture from school sat on the fridge, a house with 2 windows and a big door. I asked where she was. He said she was at a play date, and he would pick her up soon. I said okay. We ate without talking for several minutes. He finally asked if we could keep posts low for Poppy's sake. I said my voice was not a crime. He said he was asking for quiet, not silence. I said he could control his own screen. He nodded and looked at the wall clock like it had more answers than I did. My phone buzzed and got warm in my hand. The group chat pinged again with the Ari Bar invite and a bold caption suggestion. It said, "Courage looks good under lights." Ari DM'd me almost at the same time. He asked if I wanted a low-key patio later. He added a smile that looked like an open door. I told myself an open door was a good sign. I told myself a closed marriage was worse. When I put my plate in the sink, I saw a thin binder labeled Utilities on the side table by the desk. I opened it because I no longer respected quiet objects. Inside were tidy stacks, copies of statements, and a small checklist with boxes ticked. I said he was hiding behind paper to avoid love. He said paper kept houses breathing. I laughed like I knew the science. He walked to the drawer and turned the key. The lock clicked again. I checked my phone for Ari's message and found another from Kira, Noah's mother. She left a long, careful voicemail about keeping routines for any future child in this family. She did not say I was pregnant. She said if we ever were, we should protect sleep and meals and school. I felt seen and hated the feeling. I deleted the alert and told myself she had no right to plan my story. The wall planner by the pantry had a red circle around a date 2 weeks ahead. There was no label. It looked like a mouth in a quiet face. I stared at it until my eyes blurred. Noah reached for his keys and said he would pick up Poppy. He asked if I needed anything. I said bravery. He said he would see me at 7. He left and locked the door with that small double click that always sounds gentle and final. When the apartment went still, I opened the bathroom cabinet and stared at the small box I had bought at lunch. I did not open it yet. I liked the power inside the closed cardboard, the way it made me feel like I still chose the story. I put the box back and stepped out to the balcony again. The city lights looked like yes. I let them, the manager's quick word, replayed in my head as the group chat pinged with Ari's patio invite, and my phone vibrated with his DM while the red-circled date stared from the wall. Ari's bar pulsed like a heart. The back room was shoulder to shoulder, and the patio lights made everyone look braver than they were. Tamsin waved me toward a high stool and lifted her phone like a director. She asked if I was ready to give the crowd what it wanted. I said I could. Ari slid beside me with a grin that felt like a dare. He asked if the night needed a theme. I said courage. The word sat tall in my mouth and tasted sweet. Someone clapped and called for a toast. I stood on the rung of the stool and tilted my glass. I said routine kills people slowly. I said some men clock out of romance and think a roof is enough. I said upgrades are smart, and the room cheered because the room liked easy lines. I felt the cheer move through me like heat. Ari touched my arm and asked if I wanted the patio air. I said I wanted attention more than air. I heard myself talk and did not care that it sounded like a stage. My phone buzzed against the table. Noah had texted that he was outside if I wanted a ride home. He said he could wait by the curb. I looked at the glowing screen and then let it go dark. I told myself waiting was not love. I told myself love fights its way upstairs. I raised my glass again. The chant started without me even asking. People called for one more line. I said a woman has a right to seek heat where it burns. Some faces laughed. Some faces fell. I looked only at the laughing ones. Tamsin began a slow pan with her camera. Ari leaned in so the frame looked full. I rested my fingers on his shoulder like proof I could. A camera flash went off from the doorway, and turned the air white for a second. That hard light made my skin feel tight and new. Ari asked if I was serious or just fearless for the crowd. I said both. The word fearless felt like a coat I could wear even when I was shivering inside. He suggested the back patio. We slipped through the glass door. The city noise hummed like a machine out there. Ari said the joke had teeth. I said it was a lesson. He said lessons leave marks. I said marks fade if you want them to. I was proud of the sentence, even as it rang thin. The patio door opened, and two friends came out with their phones already up. One asked me to repeat the line about upgrades for a better clip. I did. The chant rose again, smaller but sharper. I performed the same line with a new tilt of the head. I liked how repetition makes things look intentional. Another buzz hit my hand. Noah had sent a second message with just the word waiting. I told myself he wanted to control the exit, not offer care. I slipped the phone into my bag and told Ari we should talk somewhere quiet. He said the gym was empty and close. I said empty sounded like peace. We left through the side door without looking back at the phones. The gym was dark except for a row of mirrors and the desk lamp near the reception. The space smelled like rubber and lemon. Our reflection stood with us like a small crowd. Ari asked if I wanted him to be the proof I kept talking about. I said proof was an ugly word. I said I preferred spark. He laughed softly and said spark can be measured if you try. I stepped closer to my reflection and told myself I looked like a woman who knew what she wanted. My phone trembled again. A missed call from unknown sat on the screen. I dismissed it and told myself wrong numbers follow bright nights. We sat on a bench. I talked about how Noah made plans instead of love. I said I needed a jolt to make him fight for me. Ari said men like Noah do not fight crowds. I said he would fight this time because I would make him jealous. Ari rubbed the back of his neck and stared at his shoes. The light from his screen blinked once and showed a preview from a contact renamed with just a green square. The text said follow up. He tilted the screen down. I pretended not to see. We left the gym and crossed the parking garage. The echo of our steps folded back on us. Somewhere past a column, another set of steps stopped. I felt the air change. Ari asked if I wanted him to check. I said no, because I wanted to believe the world watched me without knowing who watched. My phone lit with a new push, a clip title that read, "Replace him. Watch." The thumbnail was my tilted chin and Ari's shoulder in a warm frame. I looked at it longer than I should have and then locked the screen. By the time I reached home, the apartment was still and neat. The couch had a shallow dent where someone had sat without moving. Two mugs stood on opposite counters like stubborn thoughts. The guest room door was mostly closed, leaving a slice of hallway light on the carpet. I opened the fridge and then closed it as if food could change the story. I took my phone out and watched the party clip play without sound. My own mouth smiled in the frame while I hovered over the comments. Someone had recorded the toast, and the upload finished with a bright ding, and a camera flash from the door replayed inside my head as the caption scrolled. A new notification preview popped. Ari's bar tagged me, and my thumb floated above it. Morning arrived flat and grey. We had a family birthday at a long-table restaurant, so I wore a soft dress that told a calmer story than last night. Noah walked beside me but kept a polite inch of air between our sleeves. Kira waited near the centre with a careful smile. She asked if Poppy's schedule was steady. I said everything was fine. She asked if my posts were helping or hurting that steadiness. I said awareness helped women. She said privacy helps children. Her voice did not rise. Calm words can be heavier than shouts. Cousins passed plates. A cousin asked if the party clip was real or performance. I said humor is medicine. Someone coughed into a napkin. Tariq arrived late and took a seat across from me. He asked if I wanted water instead of wine. I said I wanted support. He said he supported truth. I looked away and told myself truth is whatever I can name first. When the cake came, I made a small toast to cover the silence. I said Noah was a master of lists, and I was the flame that keeps a home alive. I said couples need both. The laugh was thin and stuck to the silverware. Kira folded her napkin and asked if the child in our family would be proud to watch that clip one day. I said, "Children forget." She said, "Children collect." I did not like that verb. I stared at the cake and wished for a sharper knife. After lunch, we walked to the park. Wind pressed the trees low like someone smoothing hair. Poppy climbed the small wall and came back for breath. She asked if Daddy would sleep in the big room again soon. She asked it like weather, no edge, only fact. I said grown-ups sometimes need space. She asked if there would be two homes. My smile felt like a paper mask. Noah kneeled and said routines would hold. He said both parents loved her and would keep her safe. He did not look at me when he said parents. The space between us felt like a railing. A friend from the long table crossed the grass and showed me a phone. The clip from the bar now had captions. The caption used my upgrade line in fat letters. Two nearby parents checked their screens and then watched Poppy climb again. The attention felt different in daylight. It felt like a crop that had grown past its fence. I told myself the problem was jealous people, not me. The thought held for 3 seconds. We stopped by a pharmacy on the way home because I needed lotion, or that is what I told Noah. The queue moved slow. I put a box in the basket without looking at it too long, and added prenatal vitamins because the word future made my hands stop shaking. Nora, the neighbor, stood behind me with her phone up. She asked if I was all right. I said I was preparing for new goals at work. She looked at the vitamins and then at my face. She said stress makes timing strange. I said stress was a choice. It was a silly sentence, but I liked how it sounded. At home, the smell of printer toner hung faint in the hallway like a ghost of work. The wall planner's red circle still glowed 2 weeks away. On the desk, the thin binder labeled Utilities had a new thickness that felt like a muscle. A small sticky note near the monitor read, "Bring forms in neat letters." I opened the drawer and saw a single USB stick with today's date taped under a folder marked Taxes. I closed the drawer and the lock clicked. The sound made the hair on my arms rise for no good reason. I went to the bathroom with the box and my quiet. The test line crept forward, like a shy animal, and then stayed. Faint, but there. I sat on the edge of the tub and let the room tilt. I told myself fate had chosen me. I told myself love was bigger than timing. I did not say whose child. The floor tiles felt cold under my heels. I wrapped the test in tissues like a secret I could soften with paper. Noah knocked once and asked if I was okay. I said I was fine, only tired. He said he would take Poppy out for a short drive to help her nap. He said they would be back in an hour. I said fine, and listened to the gentle double click of the door as they left. After the engine sound faded, I unlocked my phone and opened Ari's chat. I typed that we needed to talk. The message showed delivered and sat grey. I scrolled back through the party clips. New angles had appeared, closer ones, with my hand on Ari's shoulder and his face just out of frame. Tamsin had left 2 heart reactions and no words. Mina, my mother, had commented a line about brave love and then messaged privately to ask if I was sure about the path I was on. She said storms leave debris. I told her storms clean the air. She sent a sad face and a prayer hands emoji and stopped. I walked to the balcony and pressed my palm to the glass. The city blinked low and sure. I told myself I could control this if I controlled the story. I drafted a post about miracle timing, then deleted it. I drafted another about honest hearts, then deleted that too. The drafts folder looked powerful and useless at the same time. Noah came back with Poppy asleep on his shoulder. He set her down on the couch with gentle hands and covered her with a light blanket. He checked the wall planner and wrote a small dot on the red circle date and then capped the marker like a person who folds a sharp thing away. He asked if we could keep the week quiet for Poppy. I said the world would not pause for a child. He said we could. He spoke softly the way people speak in a library. I felt like sneezing just to break it. I took the rap test into our bedroom and hid it in the pocket of a coat I rarely wore. My hand shook when I closed the closet. I told myself shaking meant I cared, not that I was afraid. I opened the gallery on my phone and snapped a photo of the tissue-wrapped shape. I hid the picture inside an album of recipe screenshots because secrets like to sit near harmless things. The choice thrilled and sickened me. Kira texted to ask if we needed help with school drop-off this week. She said schedules heal children. I typed that we were fine. She wrote that quiet can be a gift. I did not answer. Tariq sent a short message that read, he would not lie for me. I put the phone face down and stared at the ceiling until my eyes watered from not blinking. Poppy stirred and sat up. She asked if a baby would make people nicer. She asked it with the clean mind of a child who still thinks gifts fix things. The question hit harder than any adult's lecture. Noah paused in the doorway with a laundry basket in his arms and waited for me to speak. My tongue felt like a heavy key in a wrong lock. A child asked a painful question about a baby, in the same room where the wall planner's red circle glowed, and the apartment stilled while my phone buzzed in the bedroom with a new notification. I stood without answering and walked toward the sound, already crafting a post in my head that could turn this into hope. The community center smelled like floor wax and old coffee. I arrived early and signed my name with a big loop like a leader. I told myself people would see that I still ran my life. Chairs scraped as parents settled. I offered to run the ticket table and said I had sponsor ideas. The chair thanked me without looking up. The thanks felt thin. Two mothers stood near the door and scrolled. One lifted her phone and showed a clip to the other. I could see my own tilted chin in the reflection. I straightened my shoulders and said the internet loved honesty. No one asked me who I was talking to. Noah came in late and sat 2 rows back near the window. He kept his jacket on. He put headphones on for a short call and took notes in a small pad. He never takes notes for show. His pen moved steady, like counting. He did not look at me. That made me feel like a ghost. During questions, a father asked if I believed jokes help marriages. I said humor is medicine. He said, medicine has side effects. He looked at Noah and then at me and decided to count napkins instead of continuing. On the break, I wrote a long thread about miracle timing and brave love. I deleted it. I wrote a shorter one about storms cleaning the air. I deleted that too. Tamsin sent a heart and then went quiet. Silence from loud people feels like a door you cannot find. I checked Ari's chat. My last message still sat grey. I typed that we needed to talk because I might be late. It stayed unread. After the meeting, I went to the co-working space. I liked the glass walls because they made me look important in a quiet way. I opened a blank document and wrote 3 lines about choosing truth. I deleted them. A Cloud Sync pop-up blinked on the top right. File uploaded successfully. I had not uploaded anything. On a side tab, a page showed storage options. Another showed notary near me. I told myself they were ads. My chest did not believe me. I closed the tabs and stared at my reflection in the laptop frame. I told the reflection she was brave because she had a story no one else could carry. At home, the stairwell air felt cool and flat. 2 separate mugs sat on opposite counters, like magnets that would not touch. In the guest room, the blanket had a clean crease down the middle, as if someone lay still and did not dare roll. I pushed the door with my fingertips and heard the quiet change. In the office corner, a drawer slid, and then the lock clicked. Noah said he was finishing paperwork. I laughed and called paperwork his new romance. He said he would not argue. He checked Poppy's backpack and tucked a small list inside with due dates and times. We ate simple pasta. Poppy hummed while she drew a little house with 2 doors. I told myself the second door was just art. Noah asked if schedules could stay clear this week. He said messages help when days are busy. I said messages are cold. He said clarity helps children. He used a voice that sounded like a straight line on paper. I wanted to bend it. When Poppy slept, I tried again with Ari. I said he should be ready to say, we were only close friends. I added a tiny heart by mistake and erased it. Nothing changed. The room hummed for a second like a machine. The smell of printer toner came from the guest room. It faded. I walked that way. The door stood half shut. The hum of a shredder rose and stopped. I called through the crack and asked if he was destroying love letters. He said he was clearing clutter. I said clutter was safer than silence. He said he was done with mess. Back in the living room, a binder labeled utilities looked thicker than it should. I opened it. The copies had tidy paper clips. A sticky note on the desk said, "Bring forms in neat letters." I closed the binder and told myself it was a performance. On the screensaver, a clean file tree flashed. Archive A, Archive B. When the laptop woke, the window minimized fast. A phone on the table lit for a second as private and then went black. He slipped it into his pocket like a small truth. I said we should post a smiling photo. I said one frame could fix 1,000 comments. He said a frame would not fix harm. He said he would handle everything properly. He used the word like a door I was not allowed to open. I laughed and called it cold. He said calm would protect the child, born or not. He kept his eyes steady and did not search my face for answers. He walked toward the hall. A small alarm chimed from his phone. I saw the label for a heartbeat. Paper drop, 7:55 a.m. He clicked it off without looking at me. He set 2 separate mugs in the sink, handles turned away. He said he would be out early in the morning. I said I had an appointment too, and maybe we could meet after. He nodded once and closed the guest room door. The locked drawer clicked, while a muted phone lit as private, and his calm word, properly, sat in the air like frost. I decided I would wait for him in the hospital cafeteria after my booking and take one perfect photo. The hospital cafeteria felt like a clean station where no one stops for long. The morning light came through tall windows and turned trays into small mirrors. I chose a table near the pillar so I could test angles without being obvious. I opened my notes and rehearsed a caption about grace and forgiveness. I told myself a kind frame could drown 1,000 sharp comments. My hands shook and I said it was the coffee. The elevator bell dinged. Noah stepped out in a plain jacket, neat and quiet. He nodded to a nurse he knew and kept his distance from me. He asked if we could speak for a moment. I started fast. I said the night at the bar had been theatre. I said Ari meant nothing. I said friends had twisted the story. I said the timing of the baby was a miracle that could heal us. I stacked the words in bright rows so they would look like a path. He listened with a face that did not change much. He said we would use the tools the city offered. A man in a vest approached and said my full name in a clear voice. He held a manila envelope and asked me to confirm who I was. 2 people with strollers slowed. A woman with a badge stood near the kiosk and did not pretend to look away. I took the envelope because I did not want a scene in a hospital. The paper felt heavy even before I saw the words. The top page showed Noah's name and my name. The title said what it was. It was a notice for a court-ordered DNA test. The next lines listed instructions for sample collection windows, clinic location in this building, and a date for a short conference after results. There was a line about temporary use of a parenting app to coordinate any steps if paternity was confirmed. The language was clean and cold. It was not a fight, it was a map. I looked up and waited for Noah to soften. He did not. He said he would see me at the collection window at the listed time. He said the schedule was set out on the second page. He said he would keep things calm for the sake of the child. He thanked the server for his time. The server nodded and turned to the kiosk. The small printer near the counter began to work. The spooling sound came smooth, and then a clerk pressed a stamp. The thump felt louder than the room. I signed the acknowledgement line because the man pointed, and my hand knew how to write my own name. He read the time and date out loud and set the stamped slip on a tray. A guard near the door asked people to keep the aisle clear, and 2 strangers stepped aside while still watching me. I said the paper was too much. I said we could have talked. I said we should settle feelings first and facts later. Noah said children do not wait for stories to be edited. He said dignity matters. He said we would follow procedure and keep things offline. His voice did not rise. He did not ask me any questions about the baby. He did not say my name again. He looked steady and small at the same time, like a person holding a fence alone. He turned toward the exit. He said he would send the app invite by noon. He said he would be at the window at the listed time. He did not touch me as he passed. The glass doors opened for him and closed without drama. His reflection slid away down the corridor and became a shine on the floor. My phone vibrated on the table with a calendar ping I had not set. The label read, Meeting, Personal 11:05 a.m., and then the screen went dark. The printer spooled and the stamp thumped while the elevator bell chimed once in the distance. I sat in the bright cafeteria with the envelope in my hands and watched the doors sigh shut, cut to black. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next story. Write in the comments from which city you are watching.